What is up, everyone? I am Chris Knight, and you are watching Chaos Central here with the Rule of 3 on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I guess the show's jumped around a little bit. Might be jumping again, I think, starting next week, but we'll get to that at another time. But tonight we have, JJ's a usual suspect. I can say that. JJ is here to fill in for Nzo. And Danny Graham, of course. Guys, make sure you unmute. You guys are here. Hold on. I can't unmute you. Okay. There. Okay. All right. Good. All right, guys. So why don't you tell everybody about yourselves? Danny, you go ahead and you can go first.
Well, I am Danny, aka Comic Chat. That's my channel here on YouTube. You can catch me several nights throughout the week. If you're not having anything better to do, you want to watch some good entertaining content. That's what I try to provide. On Monday nights is usually my show, a part of the trio Chaos Central crew we have going on. And my show is Chaotic Conversation, where I usually rank different things. Depending on what the topic is, usually rank from 8 to 1 or 5 to 1. It just depends on whatever the particular topic is. Last night we did Chaos List where Nzo heads that up, and we usually have 3 discussions or 3 topics that he looks up, and we have a sometimes heated, sometimes very intense discussion about that. Tonight it's going to be Chaotic Conversation, which kind of much more the same format, but it's more sporadic because Chris puts the different topics on a wheel, and it's kind of random. Yep. On Saturdays you can catch me on the Equilibrium. No, I'm sorry, on Square One, which is a sports show with me, Nzo, Ben Diesel. Try to invite different people. On Sunday, you can catch me on Equilibrium, where we are going up against NFL, so I may have to change that. Usually we talk about the previous episode of The Boys and what we're discussing on that. Mm-hmm. Then on 4 nights out of the week, you can catch me on Rob Storms. We talk about a whole plethora of things, but I know that's a lot of information to take, but I only ask, lock on the 1, lock on the 2, support us. Each of us is trying to get to a goal, which is different goals we have set up for ourselves. We can only do that with your help. So thanks for supporting us, and we look forward to giving you many more videos and content to pique your interest.
Indeed. All right, Mr. JJ, tell everybody about yourself and where you can be found.
Well said, Danny.
Thank you.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JJ. You can find me just like Danny, just like Chris, a little bit everywhere. You can find me on my own channel. I do a weekly live stream called Randomness at its Finest. Random panel, random topics. Come check it out. You might actually like what you see, what you hear. You can find me on Twitter. Yeah, it's right freaking there. Ooh, look at that. A little problem with that. Right there. At SithLord3827. Sometimes I tweet, sometimes I retweet, sometimes I don't. It's a lottery. Come check it out. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. I appreciate you filling in for the short notice that we gave you. Yeah, it's a lottery, is it? Can I win money at that lottery?
No.
Damn it.
No, not that kind of lottery.
So the winning is kind of like on the Weekly Rumble.
If you win the lottery, that means you get to see what I tweet out.
Ooh, okay. Well, sometimes that is very interesting, guys. Sometimes it's not. Sorry.
Sometimes I don't.
All right. So let's just jump right into this, guys. If you don't know how this works, it's really simple. The rule of 3. We have a wheel of topics. This wheel will pick the topics randomly. We talk about 3 of them. We each get 3 minutes of those to talk about those topics, and then we spend 3 minutes talking about it together to either hash out our differences or talk about why we agree. Very simple. And with that said, let's go ahead and spin the wheel. Our first topic is the new Avengers. Also, did we have this last week? No. I don't think we did.
No.
The new Avengers could also do the Illuminati storyline as a follow up to the Emeralds or the Infinity Stones. Thank you. I don't know why. Which would involve Iron Man if they stay true to the comics. Could that be a way they could bring Robert Downey Jr. back to Marvel? We'll remove that one. We will pop it in here. And
I've seen that question before.
Yeah, I think I had it on the Weekly Rumble, I think, a week or two ago. All right. So, JJ, since you are our guest tonight, we will start with you. Remember, you don't have to use the full 3 minutes if you don't want to. So,
okay.
It's very relaxed around here for this. All right.
Okay.
Here you go.
All right. Bringing Downey back into the fold. First off, if they did it, they'd have to bring someone else in because Downey done said he wasn't going to come back. He was done with it. Now, if you paid him enough money, you could probably bring him in to do a voiceover for the AI, but that's the only way I see Downey coming back into the fold if they did this storyline, because eventually his daughter will grow up and probably inherit the suit and learn how it works and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't read comics. I'm not a comics person. I'm just assuming at this point. But yeah, that's the only way I can see Downey coming back into the fold, because he won't come back as Tony Stark, unless he comes back as an AI for the suit, kind of like what he did with Jarvis and whatever the female voice was. But yeah, that's about it. That's my thoughts on it.
So you think that if they do it, they'll have to find somebody else or recast
somebody else or recast to play Tony Stark, or do a fast forward and have his daughter in the suit. You know, she has to grow up, of course.
Mm-hmm.
By this time, you know, Pepper might be old or passed away already. Yeah, that's about the size of it. You know, that's the only two ways I see them doing it, because just from a movie aspect, you know, Downey done stated he was done.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I don't see any other avenue. You know, recast or use him as an AI.
Okay.
You know, that's it.
All right. Very good. All right, Danny. 3 minutes on the board. Your time starts now.
I would definitely want to see Mr. Downey come back. I know he said he wouldn't, but just because somebody said they won't do something, when they start missing that spotlight or missing that glamour, or the finances get low, or for whatever reason that motivates them, whatever reason gives them life seems to stop, and they don't get that high that they once got when they were the center of attention, then a lot of times their perception of their minds change. So I'm not saying that I believe Mr. Downey Jr. 100% when he says he's not coming back. Right now, he maybe don't feel like coming back because I'm pretty sure his bank account is full. He's probably doing stuff that he wants to do, but I think that could change. If it does change, he would definitely have to be a part of the Illuminati, and they got things in place to make that happen. I think that the Loki series is going to be a different time stream, as we know. That could also see Mr. Stark be brought back. Also, I think that
hold on.
Doctor Strange 2. What's up, bro?
Yeah, I had a mic.
I also see that Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Yeah, I told Chris that's probably what was the case. Doctor Strange 2 is another avenue that I can see be used to create a different timeline. So I think that Kevin Feige is savvy enough that if they go forward with the Illuminati storyline, that they could make something happen, and we may not like it, or the purists may not like it, but I'll like it, because I think Tony Stark is, in my opinion, he is the gasoline in the engine in most of the Avengers movies, him and Cap. So to not have one of them would not, the franchise to me would not be the same. So I don't have a problem personally if he does come back. It's cool with me. It's not going to make sense unless they totally change the Illuminati storyline and forgot him, which I'm sure they probably could do because they still have a lot of dynamic characters. But mainly, it's my understanding that he was a very important piece of it. But I'm thinking Kevin Feige had foresight to see this problem and put something in place. That only makes sense to me. And also, if they're really seriously talking about that, I'm pretty certain that he's gonna make an offer to Robert Downey Jr. He can't refuse. I just had another thought too that now that Chadwick Boseman has passed, he also was a member of the Illuminati. That's gonna be two key members not gonna be a part of that. So I would seriously reconsider doing an Illuminati story based on that.
Okay. All right, Nzo. Let's see.
What's up? What'd you say? I didn't hear.
Yeah, I'm just making sure my microphone decided to screw up a little bit. I just said good to see you.
Yeah, my
JJ is
head
here,
was
and you know what? We're just gonna do it this way. We'll have 4 of us on the rule of 3, so we're
Yeah,
breaking
yeah,
all
yeah,
the rules today. Good to know you're feeling.
Bro, I mean, if you don't feel good, bro, I mean, you can chill out. I know migraines. I never had one, but I know my daughter and wife suffer from them.
Oh God, you're lucky if you don't have them.
Yeah, I get them every once in a while. I know how it is. Yeah, but if you want to stick around, you can. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll stick around.
All right, 3 minutes then. The question we have today is the new Avengers also could do an Illuminati storyline as a follow-up to the Infinity Stones storyline, which would involve Iron Man. And if it stayed true to the comics. Now, could that be a way to bring Downey back to Marvel? 3 minutes, and go ahead.
Oh, well, I think we had this question before, if I'm not mistaken. But
on the Weekly Rumble, we did. So you probably were on that one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I have no idea about the Illuminati storyline. I really don't. I never followed it in the comic, so I don't know. But I mean, I've heard lots of rumblings that they were doing the Illuminati storyline in the next phases, which I'm down for. You know, I have a lot of faith in Marvel and what they plan to do. But again, I'm going to have to say, I don't think that Robert Downey Jr. is going to come back. I mean, do I want him to come back? Not necessarily, because they killed Black Widow. They killed Robert Downey Jr. I think they should just let them die. You know what I mean? And move on with the new characters. Plus, Robert Downey Jr. already said that he was actually done with it. But, I mean, we've had that said many times before, you know, and when that check comes in, cha-ching, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe I could do another one, or, you know, maybe I could do a cameo or something like that. If they want to put him in as a cameo or a flashback, I'm okay with that. Or even if they want to use his voice as the new Jarvis, I can deal with that as well, you know. But for me personally, I really don't want to see him come back. I think his ending was perfect. You know what I mean? For the series, for the whole first 4 phases, I think his ending was perfect. So I think if they bring him back, they'll just kind of ruin that. But as Danny was saying, even though I caught it in the middle, there is a lot of things going on with the Doctor Strange and the multiverse scenario that they plan to do, where they could bring him back. I mean, there's so much things that I think that they might do, you know, with that. Put Spider-Man in the Sony universe or whatever they want to do. You know, they could bring back other Spider-Men as well. So I don't know. I don't, like I said, I don't want to see Robert Downey Jr. come back. But as you guys were saying, if they do that with Doctor Strange, then that is a perfect way for them to bring him back. And with the movies that he made that weren't Marvel and flopped, if they paid him properly, I can't see him saying no, even though he said no. But I'm going to go with what he said, right? So I'm going to go with what he said for now, even though it's not set in stone, but I don't think he's going to come back. And personally, I don't even want them to bring him back. So that's what I feel about that. But yeah, if you want to do the Illuminati storyline, do it. You know what I mean? I have faith in Marvel. I know what they can do. They can always just put someone else in the role of Iron Man that was supposed to be in the comics, or Black Panther. They could use Sherry if she's going to be the next Black Panther. So I have faith in what Marvel's doing. So yeah, give me the Illuminati storyline. Just don't bring back Robert Downey Jr. or Black Widow.
All right, let's see here. I would say that the AI voice of Jarvis type thing is probably the best thing they could do. And if they decided to do that, I'm okay with it. I still think, though, again, money talks, and if a lot of stuff that Robert Downey Jr. doesn't make a splash, and right now with the way things are, who knows? If it doesn't do well in the box office, he might be looking for something else. He's got Sherlock Holmes 3 coming out sometime in the next couple of years, I think. And if I think that one will do well, but I still think that Marvel could probably at least get him back for like an AI voice or a couple quick AI scene, or not like AI scenes where they show him as a hologram. Outside of that, I'm really not sure. I think if they bring Iron Man back for that storyline, it should be his daughter. There's a cut scene, and I think Nzo, we've talked about it on Disney Plus. There's a cut scene where he when he snaps, he goes and he sees his daughter in the tranquility area, wherever, and he talks and he says, "You did a good job," and that's perfect. I mean, I really think they should have left that scene in. Hopefully they'll clean it up and do a better job. I mean, but I think that they could get that actress and make her the next Iron Man for that run. And you don't have to introduce her right away. You can give it 2 to 3 movies. This whole thing took 10 years, the first storyline. So you got 10 years to introduce a new Iron Man at some point. And then you bring him back, but you only bring him back as a voice or as an AI hologram for bits and pieces, and he'll do that. I have no doubt. You give him 5 years away from this, say, hey man, all we want we want a day of shooting, and we're going to send the script to your house, and you can sit down on your computer with a microphone and record these lines, and that's all we need from you, and we're going to pay you a cool $1 million. Why wouldn't he? He's like, $1 million? Sit here? Fine. Okay, I'll do it. And you're going to fly me to such and such place to do a day worth of shooting. Not really, all it is 2 scenes. I'll do it. I mean, I can see that working out. So I think if they bring Iron Man back for an Illuminati storyline, it should be his daughter, and he can be AI and hologram and the voice of that suit. I think that would be perfect. It's a nice nod, and you're not really breaking anything then. So that's what I think. 3 minutes, we can discuss this together. I mean, do you guys think something like that work? Different Iron Man, but use him for AI.
I think one character would be good, but Black Panther was part of Illuminati too, so they got 2 of the major members not going to be there. Plus, you don't know how they're gonna connect the X-Men world to this, because Charles Xavier was also one. So they got a lot of unanswered questions. So without more information on how they would plug in those 2 key members, I don't know. So I'm going to hold judgment until I hear more about the Illuminati storyline.
Okay. JJ, I mean,
well, I'm going to say off top, Downey ain't hurting for money, man.
No, that is not.
Because between I'm going to say Civil War to the end, that he was making upwards of $35-45 million a movie. He's not hurting for money. Now I agree with you, Chris. If they were to bring him back for a day of shooting for a hologram, and he can sit on his ass at home and record some lines, and give him, he ain't cheap. I'd say 5 to 10 mil. Who wouldn't fucking do that? For real. Who wouldn't do that? And you're going to fly me out to shoot one day? Hell yeah. You know, to me, I think that would work. Or in Doctor Strange 2, that would work too. That would be the only tasteful way you could bring Downey back into it. And because if Iron Man had to be there, well, they can put somebody in the suit. They could also, with their digital technology, excuse me, they could put the helmet on Downey, film that, and overlay it over the person that's in the suit. He ain't even got to get dressed up.
Okay. Well, I got a question. All right. In Endgame, we saw Thanos get killed, and everybody was rooting for the bad guy.
Right.
Then hours later, we saw Thanos come back to life in a different timeline. I've yet to hear anybody say anything bad about, oh, I hated that, I hated that. So if there's a way in another timeline that Robert Downey Jr. comes back, then what's the big deal?
Actually, there were a few people that didn't like the way Thanos was killed and came back. There were people.
I've never heard
Terrence did.
I had an issue with introducing time travel because it makes it very sketchy. And hopefully, I mean, Multiverse of Madness might take care of that, but we'll find out. Okay, let's spin for the next topic.
What's going on, Nzo? It's good to see you.
You too, man. Thanks for taking my spot. I see.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
All right. We keep hearing.
We had that last week.
Did we? I normally take off the ones that we do, and then
we actually did do that one.
Okay, well, we'll remove it to them. I did the both. I don't know. Interesting, because I always remove them so they don't show back up. But I guess maybe that one didn't get removed. Which talks about a 5th Indiana Jones film still happening. Are you interested, or do you think it's time to retire the series? Danny, we'll start with you this time. Talks about a 5th Indiana Jones film still happening. Are you interested, or do you think it's time to retire the series? 3 minutes, and your time starts now.
What are you trying to do? Why are you trying to kiss me and then you do that?
Oh, all right, Danny.
Okay. I see somebody trying to be a Mac daddy. So,
all right, hold on. All right, starting it now. Here we go.
I am not interested in the slides about Indiana Jones. I can barely remember the last two. I think Harrison Ford has outlived his believability in being an Indiana Jones that we used to or accustomed to seeing. I think they flubbed and dropped the ball on passing the ball to a younger actor, believable actor, an actor that the audience cared about and could get behind and support. When they introduced his son, which was played by the guy from Transformers,
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. I'm really not interested or excited. Looking at how old and fragile he looked, Harrison Ford looked in Star Wars, I can just see him with that fedora on and that whip and not being able to do the things he did in other previous movies. So I think they should just go ahead and just chalk this up. He's not going to do it, or if they're going to do it, they need to go out on a real and have a real acting cast call and find somebody that's younger and more vigorous, maybe more popular that we can get into. I don't know who that would be. I'll have to sit down and think about it, but I'm just not excited or happy or wanting to see a 5th Indiana Jones currently with Harrison Ford. I like Harrison Ford, have no problem with that. I think he's an awesome actor, but he's just too old to do that kind of adventure type movie. And we know that he would be doing his stunts, and we probably could see the stunt man in there in the most dangerous, the more active and more physical parts. And unfortunately, we get accustomed now to seeing actors doing their own stunts, and I don't think he's going to be able to do the stunts that is going to be required in an Indiana 5 movie. I don't even know what an Indiana 5. You done been all over the world. I don't know what next big thing he could find. So right now, at this present point, without seeing, hearing about a script or seeing a trailer, even a fan trailer, I'm not the least bit excited. So,
Are you an
sorry.
Indiana Jones? Are you an Indiana Jones fan?
Oh, I'm definitely a fan. I love
Okay.
I love the movie. I didn't care for the last one, but the first 3 were awesome. But like I said, Harrison Ford was more younger and more believable. But now, should he be approaching 70? I don't think I want to see a movie about a 70-year-old treasure adventure seeker.
Okay.
Doesn't sound exciting to me.
All right. Fair enough. Understand. Makes sense. All right. Anzo.
Yes, sir.
3 minutes is on the board. I'm going to reset it. And your time starts now.
Yes. So let's talk about a 5th Indiana Jones movie, and I will give a big stone cold hell no. I do not want to see another Indiana Jones movie. I am a huge Indiana Jones fan. I love 1, I love 2, I love 3. Then they did 4. And 4, even though it wasn't a horrible movie, I just could not take Shia LaBeouf in that movie. And then when they're swinging through the trees and the monkeys and that crap.
That's the worst scene in any Indiana Jones movie, hands down.
Absolutely. It was so horrible. Like, I couldn't take it. I mean, like Danny said, Harrison Ford is way too old now. You know what I mean? Who wants to see an 80-year-old man running around beating up on young dudes? And you know what I mean? They're going to have to either put in a stunt double or CGI all of his action scenes, because we damn well know that Harrison Ford cannot do them type of action scenes anymore. So I think, and you know, I don't want to see them pass the torch to somebody either. You know what I mean? I don't want to see that. You know, Indiana Jones to me is Harrison Ford. That's what I like to see. That's who I want to see. So I don't want to see them pass the torch. I personally think they should have left it alone with 3, but they tried to do the nostalgia thing and they did 4. You know what I mean? Then I can understand that, but leave it at 4, man, because 4 to me was really a step down from the other 3 Indiana Jones movie. I know a lot of people said they don't like Temple of Doom, but for me, Temple of Doom is my favorite one. I'm gonna be real with that. Like, I love Temple of Doom. Indiana Jones 3 was good. It was just as good, you know. But if I had to rate them, it's 2, 1, and then 3, and then 4, of course. But yeah, at the end of the day, you know, some movie franchises either need to just be left alone, rebooted, or whatever. I mean, if they want to reboot it, they can try and reboot it. I don't think a reboot will do as well either. It could if you get the right actor, but someone's always going to be compared to Harrison Ford. You know what I mean? If you reboot that movie. So for me, the best course is just to leave it alone. Don't make any more Indiana Jones movies. Let people enjoy what they had, and move on from that, because Harrison Ford is just not. He's not young. He's not a spring chicken anymore, you know. So
No.
I don't want to.
78 years old.
78, right? Yeah, exactly. So you really want to see a 78-year-old Indiana Jones running around? Nah, I'm not into that. So for me, I'm with Danny. I was like, leave it alone. Let's move on. Let's do something else, you know.
Okay. All right.
Can't respond in between these?
What's that, Danny?
To reset.
Can't we respond in between these if we get a rebuttal?
Sure.
There's one storyline I wouldn't mind seeing, and they're gonna steal the number 3, where Sean Connery dad, was the dad, and Harrison Ford was the son. I could see Harrison Ford taking that role, and I would get the guy that played Tarzan to be his adult son now.
Who?
And they the guy that played Tarzan.
Okay.
With Samuel Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of. I can see him being the son, and Harrison Ford kind of does the same kind of thing, be like the mentor over him, like Sean Connery was, and then at the end either he saves Harrison Ford, kind of like Sean Connery did, or he dies and kind of passes the torch to that guy. I could see that. I wouldn't be mad at that. But anything other than that, I don't think I want to see it.
All right.
And that would be good, Danny, except they already had Shia LaBeouf as his son.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he wasn't grown. He was like a teenager or something, right? This
Okay.
guy would be full grown.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you go with the time now, Shia LaBeouf now is grown, right? So they could easily throw him into the role as the adult Indiana Jones.
Yeah. All right, JJ, 3 minutes on the board, and your time starts now.
You sure you're ready for this?
Go right ahead.
Okay.
I can only imagine.
Indy 5. No, Danny, this is going to be short and sweet. Indy 5. Not no, not hell no, but hell fuck no. Leave it alone. It is gone, dead. Indiana Jones is old as shit. Let's just let it go. Let it go.
Is that your final thoughts on it?
Yes, let it go.
Are you sure about
Well
that?
said, JJ. Well
Are
said.
you
I have no
absolutely
problem.
sure? Does
Yeah,
anybody have a
Yes,
rebuttal to that?
yes, this is my final answer.
That was an excellent assessment of the particular question.
And my
Okay.
my rebuttal to that is, JJ, you are 100% absolutely right. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, 3 minutes. Okay, so here's the deal. Do I want to see another Indiana Jones? Sure. I like Indiana Jones, but there's a lot of things that weigh down the chances of it being something I'm wanting to watch. One, it has to have Harrison Ford, and you guys all made a very good point. He's 70 some odd years old. By the time this thing gets done, he might be 74, 75. Two,
No, he's 78 now.
oh, is he? Okay, so yeah, so he'll be 80 by the time
He'd be
this is
80
done.
fucking years old.
Now, I'm okay with that, but you got to be careful about how you do it. Now, the other thing is it can't be rebooted. It can't have his son take the mantle. It can't have any of that. Why? Harrison Ford point blank said he is Indiana Jones and nobody else will ever carry that hat and whip. Now, I understand in the world we're in, and it's Disney's
He's
property.
full of shit.
That's not how things
Exactly.
work. But I agree that I would prefer that be the case, because I would never really want to see another movie called Indiana Jones without him in it. I just don't think there's anybody that can quite capture what Indiana Jones was.
Nope.
And he barely captured it in the fourth one. I mean, I like the fourth movie. There's a lot of cool things I like, but it was really not. It was like barely. It was barely a movie. That
What'd you like, Chris? Him getting away from a nuclear bomb in a refrigerator?
I'll tell you where that came from if you want. That was the original idea for how Back to the Future's time machine would work. That's why they put it in there. It was an homage to Back to the Future.
But it was stupid, though.
I didn't think it was stupid because I understood the gist of what they were doing. I thought it was cool that it was a pay forward from Steven Spielberg to Bob Gale and Bob Zemeckis about that. I just thought it was cool. Yes, completely ridiculous and unrealistic. I understand, but I thought it was cool. The original idea for Indiana Jones for years was the cross of Christ, him going and that being his last journey was to find the cross that Christ died on. And that's a religious factor that the most popular movies had. Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade were based off of religious factors.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would work, but they got to get it done soon. And then if they do it, you got to retire it. Now, the problem with that is that Steven Spielberg has already said he's just going to be an advisor. He's not even going to be an executive producer or a director. And that scares me to death. So honest to God, do I want to see one? Yes. But I'm going to say no, because I'm afraid that nobody's going to be able to capture what it needs to be, especially for our last movie. And that's what I have to say about that. All right, 3 minutes. Let's go.
I think as fans, we all quick to say, and I'm guilty of this too, that we can't see somebody. We don't want to see certain things rebooted, and certain people can't do it. But that's not true because examples I love to use is Christopher Reeve. Everybody thought Christopher Reeve was like the Superman of Superman, but I think Henry Cavill is just as good, and in some things better. Some people on this panel think that Michael Keaton is a better Batman. I personally think Ben Affleck is. There are a lot of people saying that no one will be able to replace Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I think there's somebody out there that's going to do it. We all think that Chadwick Boseman is not going to be replaced as Black Panther. Right now, I don't see that, but I don't think Marvel going to sit on that forever. So someday we might see somebody. A lot of us thought that Wesley Snipes should be Blade, but now Mahershala Ali is going to be Blade. So, do I think he was the best one? But I think that there's somebody out there, and I would seriously consider passing the torch and not let the franchise die versus just letting it die and fade into oblivion if it were me.
But what's wrong with just letting a franchise die, though? You know what I mean? What's wrong with that? We had a classic.
Because that franchise, because if I own that franchise and I'm not making no money off of, I mean, how much Raiders of the Ark merchandise that you see in the stores or anything like that? So if I own that and I'm trying to make money off of it, then I might let it die for 10, 15, 20 years. But one day I wake up, I say, I think I want to reboot this with so. I think that's my right.
No, it is your right, but it's a different generation now. Like nobody really cares about Indiana Jones anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're going to do new stuff.
And besides, come on, Danny, you ain't ignorant to this, man. Hollywood's fucked up right now.
If Nzo thinks Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man, I think Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man. You got to keep doing different stuff to get new viewers, new fans. So you got to keep reinventing yourself.
Yeah, but there's certain things that they can let die, and there's certain things that they can reboot. I just think Indiana Jones should be left alone. Just
to me, I wish they would reboot The Last Starfighter.
Yeah, something like that.
That would be great. It's been long enough. It would be great. It would be great to see it have some updated graphics, maybe a little bit of tweaks to the storyline. But with Indiana Jones, right now, with Hollywood the way it is, I'm sorry, they couldn't do the franchise justice. That's why I say let it die, because they'll get in there and woke it up.
And whether they do it or not. Sorry, I was just gonna say whether they do it or not, I'll be there.
Go ahead.
No, that's all I'm saying is if they do it, I'll be there. I just don't want them to.
And that's where I'm at.
Reboot. When I say reboot, I don't mean next month, next year, next 2 or 3 years. It's kind of like how Star Wars is right now. Most of us on this panel that are Star Wars fans are not happy with the last 2 or 3 movies. So you want Star Wars to just die? Or do you want them to go away for a few years, regroup, and come back with something that you can believe in and get behind?
Yeah, I want them to come back and do something. Star Wars won't be rebooted. They could just do different stories with Star Wars, right? Mm-hmm. But when you're doing an Indiana Jones movie, you have to have Indiana Jones in it. So it's either replace Indiana Jones, have Harrison Ford come back as an old man, you know what I mean, or something like that, But for me, I'm just.
But I gave you an example of a story they could do. He could have his grown-up son. He has taught him and mentored him all these past years, and then he passed it on to him.
Right, but then it's not Indiana Jones; it's his son. It's not Indiana Jones anymore. You know what I mean?
But it's still Raiders of the Lost Ark franchise, Alonzo. It's not the same character. Same way, it ain't Luke and Leia and Han no more, but it's still Star Wars.
Yeah, but it's not called Luke and Han. It's called Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Indiana Jones and the Temple.
It's not Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's still Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Is it? I know it as Raiders, Indiana Jones. And
they added it later for packaging, but all right, guys, let's go to the third topic now. Robert Downey Jr. was asked how he managed family life and the death of Iron Man. His response was, "That's all done." implying that he's done with the MCU. Do you believe him, or do you think he will return in some way, shape, or form? Do you guys want to do a different question, or do you want to do this again?
Different
Yeah,
question.
do a different question because it's like
we
a
just did that,
continuation.
All right, that's fine. I mean, that's perfectly fine because we touched on it already. Let's see here. All right. If streaming new release movies is successful, do you think it'll be the beginning of the end of the movie going experience?
I've already talked about this.
Hold on.
On the weekly rumble, but it's all good.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we do things over here that are
I understand, Chris. I ain't new to this shit.
Yeah, bro, you gotta have different questions than the show, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'll put it again. Let's get a different one.
Yeah, different questions. Yeah, you got to do different questions than you
We
do.
talk about a lot of the same things. Like this one, I bet you is Danny's, but it's a similar question. Oh no, it isn't. Okay, this is different. All right, this is a good one. Do you think that if the stars align just right and the perfect storm happens, will Black Adam outperform the Batman movie Robert Pattinson is in? Do you guys think that? So, will Black Adam outperform the Batman? Let's see.
Love him some Black Adam, boy.
All right, Danny, you went last time. JJ went first. Nzo, we're going to go ahead and let you go first this time. 3 minutes is on the board. Time starts now.
Okay, see, this question is it's hard to get a determination on the answer on this because, I mean, let's assume that both movies are good, okay? Because if one of them is bad, it's not going to outperform the other one. But let's assume both movies are good. Let's say they're on the top levels of movie making, the DCE universe, right? So put them in the category as Wonder Woman or as Aquaman. Say they're good, universally loved, whatever. I say if they're both universally loved, I don't think Black Adam will beat the Batman. I just don't. I know Rock has that star power and Rock has his own following, but is it enough to beat Batman? I mean, doesn't matter who's really playing Batman. As long as you get a good, really good Batman movie, I do not think there's any way that Black Adam could crush Batman. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Now, depends on what they do with the Black Adam movie. If they're going to put Henry Cavill in it or some kind of cameo in there, to make it spice it up a little bit, there's a chance. But at the same time, for me personally, I think that a good Batman movie will probably beat most of the movies out there. Like even some of those Marvel movies, like let's say Ant-Man type of movie or Guardians of the Galaxy type of movie, I think the Batman would outshine them all. You put a really good movie together, and what I'm seeing from the clip from this Batman movie, to me, it looks fire. It looks like the type of Batman movie that people have been waiting to see for a long time. You get the detective Batman. You get a Batman that's, I guess he's not going to be murder. Maybe he is, maybe not. But he's very aggressive, an aggressive type of Batman. The cast is very well put together as well. I love the guy that playing Commissioner Gordon. For some reason, just in that clip alone, he feels like the best Commissioner Gordon that we've seen so far. Just the way he talks and the way his attitude is. So I'm definitely down for that. I definitely want to see Black Adam. I'm excited for the Black Adam. But in all out opinion, I think if both movies are on that level, same level as good, I think Batman outdoes it. Because and I'm just going to be real, there will be people that won't see the Black Adam movie because Rock is black. You know what I mean? Like there's people out there like that. So that alone could be an issue for why Black Adam doesn't beat Batman. But at the same time, I just think that a good Batman movie will probably beat out any good DC.
Okay. All right. Who wants to go next?
Daddy boy, you go next.
I'll go.
All right, Danny. Your time starts now.
I'm going to use the same premise that Nzo used. We're going to assume that both movies are good, level what we've seen from Wonder Woman and Aquaman. I think that The Rock has been sitting and stewing on this for so many years that he is going to study every aspect, every nuance of Black Adam, and I think he's going to crush it. Not to mention if you get Henry Cavill in there, that's going to be icing on the cake. I think that The Rock has the bigger star power, the bigger following, and in some scenarios, being black is not going to hurt him. Michael Jordan is universally loved. I'm not saying by everybody, but sometimes sports, sometimes acting, some kind of wrestling kind of blurs those lines. So I don't know if I necessarily agree on this particular point about The Rock being black. That it may hurt. It may, but I don't think it's going to hurt as much as something else, like a the movie starring like a Pootie Tang movie or doggone one of those black exploitations, black dynamite movies. If you say something like that, I would definitely agree. Because some people aren't going to watch it just because
Black
of
Panther
that
was hurt in
stereotype.
China.
But,
Man, oh, go ahead. I'll talk about it later. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true. But I think The Rock is a bigger star power than Chadwick Boseman did, and also the guy Robert Pattinson. I just think so. I could be wrong. Just my opinion.
No,
I don't know. Batman is a very popular character. I think it's going to do well. I'm not going to necessarily say that just because it's Batman, because there was two, the Val Kilmer Batman, the George Clooney Batman. They couldn't beat shit. Something me and Nzo put together, let alone something like Black Adam. So I just think, I don't know why, I just got a good feeling. Also, I'm hoping a lot. I'm trying to speak it into existence. I think if it's done like DCU comic book movie, or they can get 60% of that onto the big screen, that is going to be something beholden to see, because everybody that I see that likes Man of Steel or watch Man of Steel say that they like the Zod and Superman fight. So if they can recreate that like they did in the cartoon, we're going to see three powerhouses: Shazam, Black Adam, and Superman fighting like that. So I'm definitely wanting to see that, and that's what I'm staking the bulk of my excitement on, that fight scene when I'm picturing in my mind. So I think Black Adam is going to definitely outperform Batman.
All right.
I'm with you, Danny. I want Black Adam to outperform it for all the certain reasons you said, but I don't, and I do agree with you. Rock has more star power than any of those guys. I just don't know if he has more star power than the actual Batman character.
All right, JJ, 3 minutes on the board. I will be back. If I don't get back by the 3 minutes, just talk about this for a second, and I'll be right back. But I should be back by then. Okay. All right. Here you go. 3 minutes on the board.
All right. Two things. Normally, Nzo, I would agree with you on this, but I can't, not on this, because just in the recent past alone, there's been Christian Bale, and then there's been Ben Affleck. There's been, in the recent past, too many Batman-related movies, subjects, because, you know, you went through Michael Keaton and twice, and then you went Val Kilmer, then you went George Clooney, then, Christian Bale, then Ben Affleck. You know, Pattinson, to me, he ain't doing nothing but just trading one bat for another. You know, I saw the trailer many times. I can't get behind it. It just don't look good to me. And second of all, it don't look good to me. It looks like an emo Batman, an emo Bruce Wayne. And secondly, people have been bitching, crying, cheering, hoping, praying, all kinds of stuff for Black Adam. Okay, The Rock is delivering this movie. When? Who knows? I don't know, because I ain't even seen Shazam, but I got the premise of who Black Adam is. People have been wanting this, and with Rock, if he's doing what I think he's doing, what I think he should be doing, if he's studying the character so he can get this role perfect, I believe Black Adam will beat the Batman. Because just for the simple fact, there's been too many Batman in recent past, and this is versus something that people are really wanting. You know, it may suck, it may be great, who knows? But right now, you know, just as far just on, I'm going to use the word analytics. I believe that Black Adam will do better, just because. You know, I'm not saying Pattinson's a bad actor. I don't particularly care for him. It's just I don't know if that influenced my decision or not. But we could play the trailer right now, and I'd look at it and think the same exact thing. It's just he looks like a young emo Batman. Now the movie looks great, but I'm talking about the character alone. And I'm just not a fan of him. But I'm not a big fan of The Rock's either. But I believe he'll be able to pull it off if he's doing his homework. And if he's doing his homework, you can bet that movie's going to make money. Because this is what the people want.
Okay.
And that's it for me.
I think Batman's going to be fired, JJ. I do agree with you that he looked like an emo Bruce Wayne, but the Batman part looks awesome stuff.
Well, to answer that, I all I have to say is this is supposed to be like his first year or two.
Mm-hmm.
He still hasn't totally gotten over his parents, and he's still brooding about that. And he's under the impression that he has to stop crime, and that whatever he has to do, he'll do it. I can't imagine the guy's going to have a great mood about things.
Okay, I'm not saying that I'm not going to like it. I'm just saying that.
No, I know.
Bruce Wayne. In the Bruce Waynes in the past, he's always been polished, well dressed, confident.
Well,
I didn't see that.
Christian Bale in just a little bit of Batman Begins. He wasn't polished all the way through that. He became polished because Alfred basically said, "You know what? You got to get out. People want to see Bruce."
Yeah, when he was Batman, he was polished. When he was trying to become Batman, he wasn't. I'm talking about the Bruce Wayne aspect of it.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, I think he can do it, but all right. Listen, JJ said it. The Rock, to unfortunately borrow a line from Charlie Sheen, just wins. He's winning. That's The Rock. He puts time and he puts effort into everything he does, and whether or not it's over the top or not, whether or not it's great acting or not, it just comes across like he cares about the part. Look at Jumanji. The two Jumanji movies aren't the greatest movie, but the way he plays it, he takes the time to understand. I think in the second one, is he supposed to be playing the female?
He plays Danny DeVito.
Oh, Danny DeVito's character. Okay, so but he plays it very well. That he's this short, pudgy old guy in this buff body. I mean, he does it very well. I think they do. I think he does very well in the first one too. He takes the time to study what he's supposed to be playing, and I can't imagine if he takes the time to study Black Adam that he's not going to personify everything Black Adam is. Even with Robert Pattinson and the way we saw this trailer, I still, and this is literally every person that's played Batman or Bruce Wayne has fallen into this category. I still don't know for sure if he's going to personify that character full on, full out. Ben Affleck did it. He might be able to do it, but I can almost without a doubt tell you that The Rock will personify Black Adam. He will make people think of him whenever they think of Black Adam. And when you do that, you automatically are going to have a leg up on most things. People saw the trailer for Batman. They were like, "Oh, this is cool. It looks good." All that. But there's still that question. You know, trailers are designed to make you want to go see. It goes out there and it gets released, and a week goes by, and then people come out and go like, "Yeah, okay." the trailer was the best part of this movie. That could still happen. So, I think Black Adam probably has a better opportunity to outperform the Batman, just because one, brand new character, a character that a lot of people have wanted to see, and it has The Rock. The Rock is an A-list actor. Robert Pattinson's a good actor, but he falls more into the indie art house stuff right now. And while this movie may be designed to try to break him out of that again, you're just going to have a bunch of the people that like Twilight coming to this for sure. So I still think Black Adam wins because it's The Rock, and The Rock has a more rigorous following. So 3 minutes on the board. We can continue to talk about this, and then we can just kind of wrap everything up talking about something else if you want.
I'll say yes, The Rock does have a vigorous following. I do say that, but I don't think he's more popular than Batman. And as JJ said, there's been a lot of Batman movies, right? But why is that? Because Batman is a moneymaker. So they're trying to get him right. And if they get him right, he can make $1 billion movie. I'm not saying Black Adam won't be $1 billion movie, but I think the Batman has a better chance of becoming $1 billion movie than Black Adam does.
Yeah, if he's going up against Ben, I wouldn't be as confident because Ben is definitely the better actor, and he definitely personifies Batman, in my opinion. I think he's the best one out of all of them.
Yeah, and I actually like Affleck. Affleck was a good Batman to me.
But that's why I'm going on the fact that both movies are good, because this is a totally different topic if one is good and one is not, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if Robert Pattinson is going to be able to recreate what Ben Affleck did.
Well, this also comes up to the issue that I say right now that DC has with not having a definite course up until this point. I think with the announcement of Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, AT&T, WB, DC, however you want to say it, they've corrected that course and kind of said, no, we're on this course for Flashpoint to fix the things that we've not addressed. But when you're going forward and you're saying now you're going to possibly have 3 Batmans in this universe before this is all said and done, that's drawing a line. The Ben Affleck people are waiting for Ben Affleck to come back as Batman. They're not necessarily going to want to go see this, or they're not going to give the Robert Pattinson one the full the full chance to be what it is. And that's some people. I'm not saying all people. I just think right now with Batman, there's a lot of fatigue still on Batman. There's still a lot of divide on who needs to be Batman. Because I remember when Robert Pattinson when he was announced, people wanted them to go Batman Beyond. Then now after the fact, people announced that Michael Keaton's coming back. Now people are like, well, why didn't we do this? There's still a lot of things going on with Batman that could, I'm not saying it will, they could hinder this movie. There's none of that for Black Adam. Whether or not they continue down the course or not, Black Adam and Shazam and Man of Steel could all go on its own route in its own way and be perfectly fine without everything else. So I mean, I just see those issues.
There won't be 3 Batmans in this universe. Flashpoint is going to put 1 Batman in the universe, and we don't even know if Ben Affleck will be Batman after the Snyder Cut anymore.
I understand that. I mean, well, from what I understand, Ben Affleck has agreed to appear in another movie, not necessarily headline. So I think that would be Flashpoint. I think he'll play a small role in that, or a brief role, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's all up in the air, that side of it. I've also heard that this new The Batman is more of an Elseworld story.
It's an Elseworld Batman. That's exactly
okay. So if it is that, then it may very well easily, much like the Joker. As much as I say the Joker doesn't matter that it's called the Joker. It doesn't have to be in that time frame. I think it's more about the story and the acting than it is about the fact that it's DC and the Joker. if it falls in line with something like that, a completely separate movie on its own that doesn't even try to tie in, and it has that kind of acting and that kind of story, it's going to be hard to beat it. It will be hard to beat that. But I mean, I still think that Black Adam's going to be a tough cookie too.
Yeah. And me personally, I have no wish to see this Batman movie. Now, if it was the not Elseworlds, what is it, Flashpoint?
How can you not want to see Batman?
If it was Thomas Wayne's Batman, I would love to see that. But
well, could they in a twist throw that in? All this time we thought this was going to be, standard Batman, Bruce Wayne, and maybe in a twist they throw it in that it's Thomas.
I think the twist is going to be that it's going to be part of the Joker movie universe. That's what I think they're going to do.
And I wondered about that too. I really did, because they did kind of set up.
That Joker is a joke. He's no way he can compete with Batman.
No, because he was just becoming.
Yeah, but he had mental issues. He was dumb. He did not have the Joker in the movies. Yes, he was the Joker. Okay.
I'm not saying you're wrong, Danny. Again, this is an opinion. Your opinion is that he's dumb.
All the Jokers that I saw had some kind of aptitude for either. One was art, one was chemistry, and the Michael Keaton. They had some subtle intelligence, but they just had a sociopath disorder on top of that. This guy here, he had mental issues, like his brain wasn't fully developed. He had no kind of fighting skill that I saw. All he had was, when he flipped the violence, he had the knife and the gun. He's gonna have to be more than that to compete with the Joker. I mean, to compete with Batman.
Can I set up a possibility here for you, Danny? I still argue to this day how much of that movie, not just the part with the girlfriend, because I know everybody figured out really quickly that the girlfriend part was his imagination playing up. And then when she freaks out when he shows up, it then we're like, okay, it was. I still, to this day, because the way that it ends, I still believe most of what you saw wasn't reality.
You know what? Me too.
I still believe he was only in that hospital the whole time. And the reason why is at the very end, he says, I was just thinking of a joke. And it makes no sense. Well, not just the whole movie. I think when he says you wouldn't get it, is that it's all up here. Everything I was just thinking, the whole thing was up here, and what you saw. So what I still think is that he isn't as stupid. He's just in there, and we still have yet to see. And if they ever make a sequel, I don't know, because they basically said they're not going to make a sequel. I don't know how with a $1 billion movie you don't, but whatever. If they make a sequel, or if he shows up in this universe with Batman and the Batman, which I don't think he'll be in this one, but if they tie them together, I think then they explore the fact that he's really the Joker and how ruthless he could be. In fact, the way they've set it up with being an Elseworlds story, they could make him ultra violent and ultra cunning, because they haven't put anything on it that would hold it back. It's rated R. I mean, and is the Batman supposed to be rated R too?
We don't know yet.
Okay. I mean, if the Batman's rated R and they put those two together, it could make for a really, really awesome universe. Mm-hmm. And then again, also DC is being smart by playing it that way, because it's Elseworlds and they can go anywhere with that without restrictions. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Danny. At face value, this guy was more the reason
more
why
crazy.
The reason why I think it was all in his mind is because when he gets in the wreck at the end with the police car and they carry him out, these people don't know it's him. Maybe some of them saw him kill the guy on TV, but they were already rioting. I mean, so why would they hold him to this high place? In his mind, he would want people to do that, though. He would want everybody to revere him. That's what he wants. So that's why I've always really questioned how real that whole movie is. And
Yeah, I think that movie has scenes of real stuff and then stuff that's in his mind. You know what I mean? Like the parts probably where he's going to see Thomas Wayne and saying, "I'm your son." That could be real. Could be all the reasons why he ends up in this insane asylum. But I believe all the killing and him turning into the Joker, I think that could have been in his mind too. I don't know. I would definitely have to go back and watch the movie again to be for sure. But I do believe some of that stuff was only in his mind.
Yep. We just have to wait and see.
Because they put the seeds in there already with the girl, right? And they put that in there for a reason, to let you know that he does think about shit, like, you know what I mean? Take shit in his mind and make it reality. So there's a reason why they put that in there. That's why it's such a, is it real? Is it not real? We don't know. But I think that's exactly what they were trying to do with that movie.
The other reason why I think it's all fake and in his mind is because at the end it's the same social worker that he's talking to, and it looks like it's the same room, except now it's very obviously in an institution, not just in a standard office. And again, I think that's brilliant how they played it, because I think it's also very much just what you as the viewer decide. I don't think that there was ever anything intended outright, and without a sequel, you'll never know. So, I don't know. But go ahead.
And someone said about a sequel, I think it was you, Chris, they are trying to make a sequel. It's just Joaquin Phoenix is the one that's kind of like, he doesn't do sequels kind of thing,
There's tons of actors and actresses who have said, I'm never doing a sequel, and then they do sequels. So,
yeah, Denzel Washington.
Damn Equalizer.
Well, Michael Keaton. A lot of people. That's just a couple, but there's lots of people out there. So,
but you give them the money.
Money talks. Money talks. Exactly.
You give them the money, and that sequel's gonna happen. So
exactly. All right. With that said, we were right about an hour. JJ, thank you very much for being here. Nzo, I'm glad you can make it. It's always great when we got the Khaos crew here, and of course JJ is very much a part of that. He's on Tuesday nights, the Khaos list, and then we have the Chaotic Conversation on Monday nights with Danny over at his channel and on Chaos Central YouTube's channel. And Nzo has the Khaos list, and then this is the Rule of Three now on Wednesdays. I think next week we discussed 7 o'clock would work for you guys, which is or 6 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock your time. It would work. Okay, so that's probably what we're going to do. That'll probably be that way for a couple months, I think, because of some scheduling conflicts I've got. So, but we'll do that. But with that said, go ahead and we'll go around and introduce you guys again. Tell everybody about yourself and where you can be found. This time we'll start with Nzo, since you haven't had a chance to say that yet. Go ahead.
Yes, guys, you guys all know where to find me, Biggaford Entertainment. You guys can check out all the shows we have. Later on tonight, we'll be doing the OOC. It's back. It's been a while. So we'll be doing that show tonight. But you guys know Chaos List, Rule of Three, Chaotic Conversation, Storms Live, Equilibrium, Square One, just to name a few of the shows that we do. So check it out and enjoy the content that we try to put out there for you guys.
Indeed, for sure. Up next, let's go to Danny Graham. Danny, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself.
I am Danny, aka Comment Chat. You can find me on Comment Chat on YouTube. Like Chris said earlier, several different shows we have together. Monday through Wednesday, we have Chaos List, Chaotic Conversation, and the Rule of Three. Then on the weekends, we have me and Nzo. Other guys have Square One and Equilibrium. And then for me, 4 nights Mondays.
Pain in the ass. As a Square One's going to be a pain in the ass Saturday.
Oh yes, I have been watching Undisputed all day. Shannon has been riding Skip like a government meal, but I'm thinking about changing equilibrium because we compete with the NFL now, and there is no way we can compete with the NFL.
I was
So-
thinking the same thing.
We're gonna have to sit down and try and find a day for that. But like I said, we have a lot of different shows, a lot of different content. We won't need low to have your support. We all have our goals we're trying to get to individually and collectively. So please just hit the subscribe button on all of our stuff. Share the like button, share everything, because we are trying to get to the next level in this endeavor. So we can only do that with your help. We appreciate everything that y'all do, all the comments, all the thumbs up, all the notifications. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Indeed. All right. Last but not least, let's go ahead and JJ, tell everybody about yourself.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JJ, also known as Sith Lord 3827. You can find me a little bit everywhere. HanStar's weekly streams, Jackbox Games, and Name That Tune. You can find me on Monday nights with Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective for retro discussion. That's on a hiatus at the moment, but you know, when it comes back, that's where I'll be. Tuesday nights, I'm with these fine gentlemen on the Khaos list and Khaos Central. And every once in a while, I do my own thing. It's called Randomness at its finest. It's a weekly live stream, random panel, random topic. Come by. You might actually like what you hear. And you can, you know, last but not least, follow me right here on Twitter. I get it right in a minute. At Sith Lord 3827. Sometimes I tweet. Sometimes I retweet. Sometimes I don't. It's a lottery. Come check it out. And thanks again, guys. I had a blast, as always. It's great hanging out with you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem.
Always a pleasure.
Indeed. And yeah, I'm Chris Knight. The channel you might be watching this on right now is either Khaos Central, which we're trying to get up to 100 subs. Guys, please go and sub to Khaos Central so we can get there and get our vanity title. It's the first step in a long line of steps to make it to eventual monetization, hopefully. But this is also simulcasting on the Riddle Review 3000, where I'm trying to get up to 5,000 subscribers. And coming up here, hopefully tonight, maybe not, maybe tomorrow, we will have.
There's a lot of fatigue still.
Oh, we will have our spoiler and non-spoiler review of Bill and Ted Face the Music. So we're going to do that. I think we'll have a reaction up soon for The Mandalorian Season 2. And coming up before long, we're going to have The Mandalorian Roundtable back, guys. I greatly urge you guys to go check that out when it comes back up. I think we'll be coming back about a week or two before the first episode of The Mandalorian drops. So we can talk about what we want to see and what we think is going to happen in Season 2. So with that said, guys, everybody say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Peace.